welcome back to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So the Netflix documentary, Becoming, is an intimate look into the life of former First Lady Michelle Obama as she embarks on her 34-city book tour. The film, most recently nominated for 4 Emmys, was directed by Bronx Native and award-winning filmmaker Nadia Hallgren, and she's here with us today to discuss her journey, the documentary, and her career as a filmmaker. Welcome, Nadia Hallgren.
Great to see you. Thanks so much for having me today.
Oh my goodness, I am super excited to have this conversation, as you can hear in my enthusiastic voice.
I love.
Well, you know, first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a huge accomplishment. Let's just share with everyone your humble Bronx origins and our association.
Yeah, so I am born and raised in the Bronx. I grew up in Soundview. And I got my start into the world of documentary through ICP at the Point, CDC, which is a wonderful community arts organization. And where you and I met a long time ago. I won't tell people how long.
As you know, we already had that conversation.
Yes.
Now you just the river.
So I started learning how to do documentary photography at the Point many years ago, and that really kind of sparked my interest in documentary filmmaking, which I went on to study and, came up through the ranks, started out as a production assistant, went on to be a cinematographer, which I did for many, many years. And then, in the last few years, transitioned into directing and have been fortunate enough to most recently release Becoming with Mrs. Obama.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. Meanwhile, you already shot the documentary. It's already been on Netflix for over a year now, and now it's being nominated for an Emmy. But I just can't imagine what that must have been like for you to have been chosen for that. So please do share the details of how you were chosen to be this person who's following the former First Lady around the nation.
Sure. So, I guess it's been about 1.5 years ago now, right around this time that, or 2 years around this time, I was sitting at my kitchen table like I am now, and I get a phone call from a woman named Priya Swaminathan who runs Higher Ground Productions, which is the Obama's production company. And she had gotten my name through a friend that I had worked on with the project, and she tells me, Mrs. Obama's getting ready to go on this worldwide book tour, and we're floating the idea of documenting it. We don't know yet if it will be a film or something that just lives in Mrs. Obama's archive, but we're looking for someone to take on this position. And one of the sort of prerequisites to doing so was that the filmmaker had to be able to kind of have a very small footprint, work alone even if necessary, because of the way Mrs. Obama moves with Secret Service and the whole apparatus. And my background in cinematography and actually in very low budget documentary filmmaking really helped me out with that, because I had learned through the years how to wear many hats, do sound if I needed to, be the cinematographer, directing, sort of producing, all that stuff. And so I after the call, I was like, that was such a nice phone call. I'm not going to ever get that job, but I appreciate someone thinking about me. And a few calls later, and next thing I know, I had an appointment at the office of Michelle Barack Obama to meet Mrs. Obama herself.
Oh my gosh. I'm feeling it for you, and it already passed, right? And it's lovely you shared all of these skills that you developed along the years that all led up to this, which is inspiring for our next generation of Bronxite cinematographers and DPs and photographers. And so you're truly an inspiration, and the fact that you maintain this humility and we can have this talk, even though we know each other from back in the day. I haven't seen you in, I don't know, right, we weren't going to talk about how many years. But it's so lovely just to see how far you've come, and just also I'm curious to know like what that was like for you to be like up close, impersonal, right? I mean, you just mentioned you kind of had to move around like a fly on the wall so that you weren't, I guess, like an official camera capturing everything that was occurring, but you were in so many places. You met so many people in the process. I mean, there's Oprah, Gail, Stephen Colbert. I mean, and of course her family, right? Her mom. Wow, what was that like for you to just be that up close and personal?
You know, Rena, it almost still feels like a dream that all those things happen that you just mentioned. You know, I think for me, meeting Mrs. Obama for the first time was just, you know, I had to kind of like wake myself up. I was like, this is really happening. You're not having a dream. You know, this is going down. But she's just, you know, from minute one, she's just such a wonderful, loving, warm person that is very excited to meet new people and really just looking to connect, just like all of us. So in that way, she made it really easy once I got over my own nervousness of being, you know, in the presence of such amazingness. And when we started, you know, I pretty much started right away, hit the ground running. And then I knew I had to quickly just dive into filmmaker mode and be like, you are making a movie. Every moment is valuable. Figuring out how to capture these incredible things that were happening in front of me, as well as make the film feel as intimate as possible. You know, when I'm sitting next to Mrs. Obama in her motorcade car and we're talking about music and we're having a good time, all I'm thinking is, I want everyone to have this experience. How do I make a film where an audience can feel like they're sitting next to her and they're also just enjoying a conversation and you know.
I do have to say I was able to be with you in viewing it because there were certain little things that I took into account that were, I don't know what your intention was, but I know there was an artistic component to one of the images that stood out for me, which may have gone over people's heads, was when they went to visit the home, their older home, you know, where the mom raised them and where she ended up living with Obama, Barack, that is. And as they were leaving, you left the gate door open. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes.
and there was something that made me feel so emotional because it was almost as if though you, as the DP, were saying, it's open for you all. And it remains
noticing that. You are definitely the first person that ever noticed that in there. And I love the symbolism that meant to you. And also that feeling that, you know, Mrs. Obama and her family really invoke of this, just like this welcoming feeling. And, you know, that's how I felt when I was around them all the time. You know, I remember her brother said, you're family now, you know, like you're part of this. And that just meant so much to me. And they surely, you know, in their gestures and how much warmth and community they generate around them, you feel that exact thing that you mentioned, that you're feeling like that this come in, you know, this door is open for you.
Yeah, and it was definitely captured because it's amazing, right, to be up close and personal with the former first family, but yet kind of sit there and be down with them because they seem so down to earth, and you got it. I felt it. I was like, yeah, wow. And in my opinion, that's the first time I've ever felt like I could relate to a first family that's been in office.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I appreciate you say that. I think I was also struck by how down to earth and just cool, and, you know, being around Mrs. Obama's family was the way it felt when I'm around my family or my friends. You know, how we would all gather in the Bronx and just have great times and, you know, share food and stories. And I felt so connected to that experience. And I felt at home immediately. It was just something so familiar in that. And you know, I'm sure because of who they are, this historical Black first family of the United States, that is part of the reason why we really felt that sense of connection.
Yeah, and it's lovely that she also brought in a person of color to capture it. And with that said, before we leave, let's talk about your Emmy nominations. Woo!
I mean, you know, the Emmy nominations are so wonderful. I think I'm just really honored to have been nominated with such wonderful filmmakers. You know, American Factory is a fantastic film. It's a modern classic. The filmmakers are great friends and lovely people. The Cave is also just an incredible, courageous feat of filmmaking by the director. And you know, to be considered up there with those folks is just, you know, I just can't be more honored than to have that experience, as well as the cinematography nomination, which is very cool because, you know, my biggest dream in life was to be a cinematographer, and that's kind of where I set my goals at. And so to have been recognized in that way as well is like pretty awesome.
Bravo! Congratulations. What, just with one word, what do you want to leave our audience with? Our future cinematographers, our future DPs, our people of the Bronx who are aspiring to do great things, such as you have. What would you leave them with?
I would just like to say that whoever you are, wherever you come from, nothing is impossible. Follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you that they cannot happen, you know, because look at where I am, and I've been able to achieve things that I could have never even imagined. And so really believe in yourself, surround yourself with great people, and, you know, just keep moving forward.
Thank you. Woo! And of course, don't take advantage of the cultural institutions that are in the neighborhood, because look, this is what the point did for her.
Absolutely.
Bravo.
All right.
Bravo,
Thank you so
Nadia.
much, Rhina.
Bravo. Bravissimo. You guys, for more Nadia, you can follow her on Instagram, that is, at Nadia Hallgren. All right, we got to take a quick break. But when we return, we'll get some tips on how to care for your skin this summer while wearing a face mask. Don't go anywhere.